Okay, welcome, great souls. Always wonderful to gather together in satsang and share our spiritual practice together. So, I just wanted to start with a short explanation. The four stages of yoga. You may have heard about the four stages of yoga by Nishkala Cryer. There's many people that write about it, but she's a friend of mine up at Ananda Village. And it's important. I'm just going to tap into it, the 24 periods that happen here. And I'm going to read right from the book. And then, as promised, we'll get started with the vinyasa practice. So this is coming from the ancient Vedic way of living in India that may or may not be practiced, but I think a lot of us experience the first two stages. So the first 24 years is what is known as the birth to student stage. We're, of course, using our energy in outward ways to sustain life and the pursuit of worldly goals. There's an impatience to grow up and actively enter the world. The second, there's a lot to the first 24, of course, but then the second stage is the householder stage, and this is 24 to 48 years old. And this finds us proving ourselves as mature adults, raising a family perhaps, having a career, paying bills, focusing on our family and careers, and learning to serve others in different ways. Now, the third stage, which is where I'm at, is the forest dweller stage from 48 to 72 years old. And this is, we're able to examine our life with much more depth and find its purpose, developing our innate spiritual gifts, and we're withdrawing from the world somewhat. We still have ties that pull us back to the world, and that's appreciated. But it's really a time to move more into our spiritual practices of self-realization, service to others, etc. So it's much more an invitation to do that, because we have perhaps the time to do that and hopefully the energy to do that. And then the last stage is the sannyasin stage, 72 to 120 years old, if we make it. And the yogis say this is really, really a wonderful time of life. Our body is physically withdrawing in a lot of ways. Different things are coming up, maybe not very pleasant physically, but it's our chance to go much more into our expanded consciousness. And that could take a lot of forms, and ideally it's at that stage it's all about selfless service. So this is just a very brief overview of the different stages, and I'd like you to just kind of check in. That was just a few sentences of a much broader field of how we could use this time. For most of us on the call, at live anyway, we're in the forest dweller sannyasin stage, and both of those are much more about the time inward as well as service outward, but really relishing less of a impulse to have to activate outwardly, to really, really tune in inwardly. So with that said, we will continue to do that through our breath practice and our vinyasa practice. So we're going to start with Jalanhara Bandha. This is a 4-4-8 breath count. So this is very, very great to relax the nervous system, to balance the vagus nerve. So we're in our parasympathetic response, much more calming to the body. So I'll count it out first, and then we'll practice together. So we'll inhale to the count of 4. And then we'll do the Jalanhara Bandha, the chin lock. You're going to draw the chin to the hollow at the throat. Hold for 4. And then we're going to lift the chin, exhale to 8. 8, and I'll count us down. Okay. So first just exhale completely. Soften the shoulders. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Tuck the chin, hold the breath, focus at the spiritual eye. 3, 4. Lift the chin. Exhale. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Bandha chin lock. 3, 4. Exhale, lift the chin. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll do a couple more rounds. Inhale, belly, heart open. 3, 4. Engage the lock, chin to the hollow of the throat. 3, 4. Exhale. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more round. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Chin lock. 3, 4. Holding the breath. Exhale. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Just let the breath rise and fall as it will. Notice the effect. You want to do that for 5 minutes to elicit the benefit. Anytime you want to regulate your vagus nerve, come into the parasympathetic response, the calming energy. All right, let's bring the soles of the feet together and butterfly and circle around a couple times in each direction. Open up the hips, getting some flow going. And then coming into our forward fold. If you can either have the hands, of course, by the toes and the elbows wide, or you can reach underneath the lower calves and around the spine. Either way, you want the back of the neck open, tuning into that oceanic sound, and really working with the quality of the affirmation in this pose is acceptance. And learning more and more to accept life as it is. That doesn't mean we don't activate, try to change things, but this deeper calmness and acceptance of what is appearing in our lives. What we can do, we do. We let go, but that deep sense of acceptance and peace. Let the belly really expand and condense. And then rounding up. It's always traditional to set an intention in the class. If that speaks to you today, go ahead and listen within and see what is appearing for you in this stage of your life. Drawing the knees in, shaking the legs out. I'd like to do an upright as figure 4. So we're going to bend both knees and we're going to draw the right knee into the shoulder, flex through that foot, fingertips face forward, and reaching the heart, the chest toward the shin. And breathe in. And we'll get into the quad there, the glutes on that right side. This is kind of a variation. Sometimes it's called a variation of the pigeon for the hip opener there. And then notice if you want to circle. You want to circle or stay stable. And I'm bending the elbows in this gentle flow. A couple times in each direction. Very good. Warming up. And then before we go to the other side, we're going to do reverse tabletop. So we extend the leg, plant it back down, lifting the hips, the belly up, and exhale. If it's okay on your neck, let the head go back. If not, keep the chin tucked for the hollow at the throat or somewhere in between there, not all the way back, to protect the neck. Strengthening arms, the legs, the spine. Hearing that oceanic sound. Beautiful. Easing down. Sit bones touch. And of course we go to the other side. And our upright figure 4. Bringing the left foot, flexing through the foot and reaching our fingertips forward, and just see where you're at. We don't want around, it's fine here. We want to lengthen up. Feel the full yogic breath. Belly, on your next inhale, belly, heart, crown expands. You feel opening through the crown. In Northern California, we got sun this weekend. We can feel. Exhale, rooting down to the earth. You want to add some flow. See how that feels to your body. Circling around or staying stable. All right, and of course we'll do the reverse table again. So draw that left knee in, extend, and then lifting up. The balance of strength and flexibility. Next, okay. Otherwise, keep the chin slightly tucked. Let those inner arms drawing toward one another. You feel the muscles wrapping around the bones, most likely of the arms and the legs. And then easing back, And let's just extend our legs. Bring the, maybe a lot on the wrist, so bring the back of the hands together and circling to release the wrists. Our mudra. Into our forward fold. Hands to the heart, spiritual eye, crown of the head, lengthen and grow, and then coming forward. Just ease, pull back on the right toes, look over the right shoulder. And then the same with the left, pull back on the left toes, look over the left shoulder. Extend, and I like to grab the large toes or use a strap here as we elongate the spine first and then round into our forward fold. We know the forward bends are relaxing to the nervous system, so see how much we can ease here. Softening the shoulders, starting with the physical body, the jaw, the eyes. But energy strong through the hamstrings. Seeing where we can let go. Noticing if any in the stage of your life now, how it feels at this stage. Is there more of a yogic inwardness to your days, more reflection, less hustle? Inhale, heart lifts, head lifts. And sweeping the arms up and feeling the space all around you. Ooh. Okay. Get the whole body, well, you are working with the whole body, but in a postural forward fold. So we did that, of course, seated. Now, same type of movement, but we're in Uttanasana forward fold. So we just bring our feet hip width apart, large toes slightly in. Again, that releasing where we can, letting go,
Maybe resting at the elbows, maybe letting the hands release, but feeling that blood flow to the brain, casting any unnecessary mental burdens. Coming into this moment through sensation in the body and through the breath. All that stuff will be here that we, may need to attend to. You bend the knees. We're going to remember to reach back, lift the toes, reach back through the heels, come into our chair, strength pose, and then sweeping the arms out in front, pulse a little bit, strengthening the glutes, the legs, the quads, and then sweeping back a bit. And then one more time, sweeping forward. Rooted from belly through the feet, but perhaps a lightness in the upper chakras. Perhaps. Arms come up. And we come into extension. You can even lift off the heels if you'd like. And then lower down and feel the space all around you. Swirling prana. Energy clearing. We've done this before, but it's a great practice. I try honestly to do this twice a day to get that ball of chi going, and just notice how the power center is there, the energy there, and the feeling of divine connection with the heart and the actions you take within and the hearts and the actions you take in the world. That chi ball going. And then let the opposite arm extend out. One's going toward the earth, the other's going toward the sky. We're releasing stuff that we just want to let go of. We don't even have to know what it is, and we come back. We're clearing. We come back to our divine connection. Heart is that action for you, for your spiritual well-being. We're doing it together in our practice here. Is there more as we release out any stuff that, may be coming at you for others from you, that you don't want. And then we come back to our center. We'll do that one more time. Chi ball, divine connection now. And releasing in the opposite direction, letting go, clearing the energy field, our auric field, and then coming back to that heart and solar plexus energy as you release out to the other side. Okay. And now we really tune in to our heart center as we bring our hands in namaste. Coming to the front of the mat, make sure you have a blanket. I'm going to get into our vinyasa flow, more dynamic movement now. Also bringing others to the mat if you'd like, letting that divine energy open up for their well-being. All souls come into their highest as we tap into the spiritual eye, to the crown, lengthen and grow. I have the middle finger extended. You could do index as you arc back. Couple breaths here. Lifting up and swan diving forward. So as we come forward, we're taking our time. Inhale, scooping up the low, mid, upper back, and stepping back to a full down dog. Treading it out. Hydrating. And affirming, this one, our affirmation, calmness, peace, radiate through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. I'm rippling. You decide what you like in this moment. Maybe they'll have circles with the hips, side to side.
Press into the base of the fingers, magnetize the heart toward the thighs. Spread those toes wide. All right, let's see if we can do three-legged dog. Inner borders of the feet together, right leg lifts up, and then opening the hip to the side, rotating the ankle 3 times. And let's take it slow. Let's bring the knee to the chest for the transition. And then let's see if we could step that foot all the way through, or walk, walk, walk with our hands. Come on top of that left knee. Okay? And we're going to lift up. And so we want the blanket underneath us. Tailbone down. Hips easing down. All right. Once we're stable in our foundation, we're going to rise up with our arms. Inhale. Exhale, cactus arms. Exhale, bending the elbows. Radiant heart expansion. Inhale, pulse it up. Exhale, open the heart. Wide as possible. One more, inhale. Now this time as we exhale in cactus arms, keeping the heart open, we're going to reach out with the arms out to the side and see if we can interlock. If you can't interlock, just the hands come down by your side, no problem. So we interlock. And what we do here is we're going to just practice coming forward when our knee is touching the earth. So we come forward, tapping that right shoulder to the right knee, looking in front of the mat. And then inhale, lifting up. Now, back in the day, maybe I could still do it. I'd lift off that back knee, but for our sake of taking this gradually, because of the stage of life, what I'm going to do is going to lift off of that back knee and then spin my back foot 30 degrees. If you want to try coming right up from the knee, you're welcome to. We're going to lift up and get that interlock going again. So if you need to widen the feet, do so. So we're upright. We're going to reverse it one more time before we come forward, meaning release the heart open, release the arms up. I attune my will to the source of all power, warrior one. Then back to the interlock. Now we go into our full lunge, humble warrior, bringing that right shoulder perhaps to touch the right knee, bowing to the wisdom of the heart. You hear that oceanic sound of the breath. 3 to 5 breaths here. Letting go. And then releasing the arms and taking rest. I'm going to step that back foot forward. Toes are pointing more forward. I don't know if you can see that. Into pyramid. So we drape the right hip back, the left hip forward. You can use blocks here. And tuck the chin to the hollow of the throat. Resting in the peace of the heart. Feel your heart ventilating. Feel the back of the heart expanding, sides, front. Again and again, we're just allowing everything to be here. Opening to it. That's how we get the acceptance. Natural resistance to certain phenomena, of course. Right now we're opening to the wisdom of the heart. Okay, when you feel complete, we're going to bend on this side. We're going to bend that right knee. Step back into plank. Create a strong line here, a couple breaths. And then transition with one forearm down, then the other. Reaching through the heels. Couple breaths here.
And then come on top of the thighs. Ah, taking gently side to side. If you want to get that deeper shoulder opening, we can turn the fingertips forward and do those just like we do with the hips. We do with the shoulders. Very good. We'll do one locust. Remember the imaginary block between the inner thighs. So you get those legs and low back, legs strong, low back protected. Now rise up to meet the opportunity today. Lifting the legs up, pulsing up. Inhale. Exhale halfway down. Now we want our wings of joy to fly. We can bring our arms out to the side perhaps, or by your side again. Inhale, pulse it up. Standing on the wings of joy. And then taking rest, stacking one hand on top of the other, large toes touch, melt into the earth. Feel the full yogic breath, nourishing you, comforting you. I'm trying to remember something. We want to breathe rather than hold the breath and try to figure that out. The more we can breathe, the more science is finding from the article that we're able to remember better with the fullness of the breath. So we're going to rise up, feet hip width apart, and come into our cobra. Bhujangasana. Inhale, expanding upward, lengthen through the crown. Lion's breath, stick out the tongue. Reflecting on speech. That's a big one. Okay. Knees touch down, easing back. So we're going to round a cat back, and we're going to keep flowing here. Sucking the chin to the hollow at the throat. Sit. And scooping out, low, mid, upper back. Do that same flow, of course, to the other side. Neutral spine to start. Hover the heels off the earth. Take your time to pour back. Perhaps easing side to side with the hips or staying stable. Calmness radiates through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. Inner borders of the feet together. Perhaps that left leg lifts up. Perhaps not. It's okay. Stay with what works for you. Bending the knee. Rotating the ankle. And when you're ready, we're going to bring the knee to the chest and then giant step forward. Okay? And we come on top of the right knee. And we lift the upper body. We draw the tailbone down. Very good. And we reach up. Inhaling, reaching up. And then exhale, cactus arms. Expanded heart. And pulsing up again. A couple times here. As I attune my will to the source of all power. Knee down lunge. This time as we pulse down, we reach out with the arms. We reach behind us. We really get that heart expansion, looking upward at a point for stability. And then we're just going to test drive our lean forward with that left shoulder by the left knee. That direction. And then we ease down with the hands. And we come into it gradually off of that back knee, spinning the foot 30 degrees, rising up. Left hip back, right hip forward. We're gonna reverse it, reaching the arms out wide. Inhale. I attune my will to the source of all power. Beautiful. Let's give you the affirmation or whatever is coming to you in that higher guidance. As we come forward now with the left shoulder by the left knee, the knuckles lift to the sky, the crown of the head towards the earth. Again, in any of these forward bends, bowing to the wisdom of our heart. Double breath, still know when to release. When you're ready, we release the hands. We step, I'm turning the back foot in, toes in more, widening my stance a bit into our pyramid using blocks. In fact, I'll get the blocks just to demo on this side. And we're offering ourselves fully into the flow of grace. That's the affirmation. I offer let's get the blocks on the right. I offer myself fully into the flow of grace. So again and again, this individual selves uniting with the infinite moving through the individual self. All we have to do is open to it. I offer myself fully into the flow of grace. Okay, when you feel complete there, soften the knee, soften the side. And I use the blocks there. We're going to step back to plank. And step one foot out to the outside of the mat. And then back. And then the other foot. And back. And then one forearm. Then the other. And then reach the heart through. Into Sphinx. Jim inside the side gently. Very good. Okay. Let's do our locust series again. Recharging any scattered energy into connection with our central channel. That's where we're free. And there's no duality there. Imagine that block between the inner thighs, legs strong, low back protected. Pulsing now the feet off the ground and the upper body upright. Exhale, ease. Just gently upright, arms out to the side, super person pose perhaps. Inhale, pulse up. Recharging the energy. And easing forward. The most challenging, arms above the head. If you can, inhale, pulse up. Breathing in. And then we take rest with that other hand on top. If you can remember, large toes touch, heels apart, melting into rest at the spiritual eye. You're feeling the fullness of the yogic breath, the ventilation through every cell, every organ of the body, but there's a resting at the truth of who you are. The soul, higher self, whatever you call that, so important. And yet we may not be able to see it, but we perhaps can feel it Feel that higher energy there, at the spiritual eye, seat of intuition, insight. As now the feet come hip width apart, we're gonna rise up. And do our full, maybe the knees off the ground, half or full cobra, lion's breath. 2 or 3 times, shoulders down. Okay, knees touch down. Let's rest here with the knees wide. Variation of child's pose. If you can extend the arms out in front of you, or prayer pose. Easy prayer with the arms out. Keep returning. Again and again. We can feel that gentle pressure perhaps with the spiritual eye. Imagine we have that bindi sticker right there opening, keeping awareness to open. The two become one here, the third eye. Okay, we're gonna round the spine, round your cat. We're gonna do a couple cat kicks and go into tiger. So wrists come back and left knee in. We're gonna draw the right knee toward the, it's not gonna touch, most likely, it's not meant to, toward the nose, the chin, and then we're gonna extend and keep that knee bent and lift. That's the tiger kick. You're gonna pulse it a couple times. So you feel that in your quads, glutes, okay? It's more intense. Exhale, round. Inhale, pulse. Flex through the ankle. Bring the foot toward the sky. 2 or 3, 4 pulses. One more time, round. It's a great one for quads and glutes. And then pulse. Excellent. And then we want to stretch it out, turn the toes under, and press through that back foot. Come forward. Forward and back. Hydrating. Okay, beautiful. And then switching to the other side. When you're ready. That right knee more in the center line. Same thing, left knee toward the nose or chin in that direction. And then flexing through, pulse, 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 and round. Exhale. There you go. Inhale, recharging. Pulse, pulse, pulse. And round. Ease. And then activate. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Beautiful. Turn the toes under. Really stretch through that hamstring. Heart forward, then back through the heel. Flowing with Brahma, flowing with prana, flowing with the divine. All right, both knees touch. We're going to transition to our from the down dog again. If you like, pressing more weight through the right hand, left foot, bend the right knee, cross diagonal stretch. And then shift. More weight through the left hand, right foot. Cross diagonal shift. Notice if you feel that crossing energy through the midline, and then equally, both hands, both feet. Maybe make a small circle with the head to release the neck if you're stable. Okay, so stepping 1 foot forward, then it's opposite, one hand toward the feet, and keep walking. Seeing where your forward fold, you want to bring, I feel like I want to bring my hands underneath the soles of the feet now. I build up on the wrist, resting at the elbows. Same thing as letting go. Unnecessary holding.
things we can't control, mental burdens, resistances. We all got the various blocks, those rocks, fears, doubts, insecurities. We want the light always, the light is bigger than the rocks. We want to consciously let that light come through any of those various blockages. And return to the light more and more as you release the hands. Back to our friendly chair pose, strength pose. Reaching back and sweeping forward. A little bit more weight on the heels here.
Inhale. Coming up. Let's do a half moon pose as we're standing. And the arms are still up. Let's just interlock and arc it over to the right. Tailbone down. Good look up. Gently, strength and courage. Fill my body cells. Strength and courage. Fill my body cells. Inhale, coming back to center. There we go with our cactus arms again. Heart opening. And then to the other side, once we have the interlock, arcing over, half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Yeah. Strength and courage. Fill my body cells. You can say it louder or quietly, inwardly. Strength and courage. Fill my body cells. Inhale back to center. And cactus arms. Okay. Clearing the circular energy, just getting used to doing this throughout the day. All kinds of ways to recharge, simple ways to recharge throughout the day. This is one I do a lot. And you can bring it up to shoulder width. Yeah, favorite tree, you can take a moment, put your hands into the tree, ask for its excess energy to bring you energy, filling up. So many ways to gain energy throughout the day and to connect to us. All right, let's do our balance pose. So it's going to be a little different because it's not quite a classic yoga balance pose, but what I want to do this on purpose. I want to slow it down enough to feel. Last week we did tree, but right now we're rooting down through the left with the 4 points of the feet. And just notice right here, we're lifting up. That's a balance pose, of course. Then we lift up a little bit higher. Try to get the knee in line with the hip. Maybe arms come out to the side. We add a bit of a twist here. Even if you're wobbling, you're affirming I'm calm, I'm poised, I'm focused, concentrated. Yes. All right. Coming back to center, keeping the balance, and then just simply stepping back then. So our prep and other poses for balance pose is a balance pose. That's the whole point of that. We know that as we open up into our triangle. Oh yeah, taking our block. I'm going to put mine by the little toe side, but you can bring it on the inside or the outside. Fingers joining us. Expanding the heart. Reaching over. And then taking your time to feel that extension. Oh yes, I like that sound. As our hand comes to the block and we stack our shoulders and Trikonasana, and we invite energy and joy. Fill my body cells. Side body opening, perhaps Utthita. Energy and joy. Fill my body cells. Circling around. Or staying stable with your triangle pose. Now this is where we take it into the classic, more of a classic balance half moon pose. So we're gonna bend our left knee. We're gonna take our block diagonally or your hand. Put the block flat. Step in with the right foot. Look in front of those left toes and then see 4 points of the feet for a balance. Maybe the arm reaches open. Maybe the heart comes to this, opens to more to the side. But either way, we're affirming. I expand fully into this moment. I expand fully into this present moment. Moment to moment awareness. All right. We're not going to stay here long. We're going to bend that left knee. We're going to tap down and then reverse our warrior. So gracefully sweeping the left arm up. Right arm down. Opening. And coming back to Trikonasana. Before we do the whole thing to the other side, wide angle pose, why not? We're here. Hands to the heart. If you need a little more nourishment and comfort to the heart, you could go into Eagle Heart Mudra. It's always a great practice just to tap into the heart, bring yourself love, compassion, and expanding that outward within you and all around you. We're going to interlock. And come into a forward fold again. Right, Tigger, come down towards you. Knuckles up to the sky, crown of the head toward the earth. Opening, oh. Okay, I wonder when that was going to happen. Hands underneath. And we're going to open to the right side, twisting. And then back. And then twisting over to the left. Tigger's extra needy, wanting contact today. We had a middle of the night raccoon visitors. It hasn't happened in a long time here. We have a cat door and we'll be locking it tonight. Just a little side note of household activity. And they got into all his food. Expanding the heart open. A little drama in the middle of the night. And then go ahead and bring your hands back to Eagle Heart Mudra, back to mountain pose. Moving down and rising simultaneous, root and rise it's called. Every inhale, every exhale. Have that capacity to feel both. Getting into the stage of your life and what that means to you. I mean, this thing's evolving, changing. What is it? What would you, the yogis are inviting us always to go deeper, but especially in the later stages. All right, same deal to the other side. We're going to root down through the right foot. Actually, I'm going to take a little drink of water between here as you're rooting. You may want to do the same thing. We're prepping for our balance, which puts us into a balance. The prep is the balance. The left foot comes up. Now, you can stay here. I didn't offer this last time, rotate the ankle if you don't want to twist. If you want to try the twist, you're going to bring the opposite hand to the knee as you slowly gaze toward the left. There's our balance. And then we come back and we giant step back into Trikonasana. So I'm going to turn around and approach it this way. camera. And we're gonna feel the strength of the legs, we're gonna feel the fluidity of the shoulders, the belly dance arms, the heart. We're gonna radiate out to the side, reaching over and letting the hand either slide down by that shin very lightly or the block in front or back of the foot. Add the mudra, individual self, uniting with the infinite, opening to the infinite. And opening to energy and joy. Fill my body cells. That joy kosha is within us. And we're opening to it. Taking the medicine. Inhaling. Expanding. Stable or fluid. Energy and joy. Fill my body cells. Enjoying the inhale, the exhale, choosing love. Okay, this next one, as the hand comes down, we're gonna bend the knee and go into our standing half one-legged moon, okay? So we step our left foot in front of the toes, pulse up. If you choose, you can look down or you can choose to start to gradually look forward. I expand fully into this moment. I expand fully into this moment. Okay. And when it's time for you, you come down. If you want to stay longer, feel free. I'm going to dance our warrior, Virabhadrasana 2. Sweeping, I like to sweep that arm, the one arm up, the other arm down. Watch that knee, that it goes back toward the little toe. Second toe opening up. Beautiful, coming back to center. Turning the toes in. I don't think we're going to go forward, and then we'll do goddess pose, turning the toes out, heels in, squatting down. Talked about quad and glutes activation, squats, pulsing. And then adding the twist. So looking over your right shoulder, extending the left elbow. Back to center, pulsing. Goddess energy, and looking over the left shoulder, extending the right arm. Breathing. Okay. Back to center, pulsing. And rising up. Toes turning in. Bring yourself back to mountain or swirl it first before mountain. And taking it in. Keep lengthening through the crown, rooting down through the feet. How are you nourishing the stage of life you're in now? Okay. We are going to come down toward the floor. Let me check on the time to see. Oh, yeah, okay. All right, go so fast. We're gonna come forward or come into a squat, either way. So I'm gonna come forward and come into a lying down figure 4. So we'll take that gradually. We won't go down to the ground quite yet. Yes, I'm down on the floor with you. First, we'll do a boat pose, Navasana, strengthening, reaching up.
exhale through the mouth, switch. We're just tapping the ball of the foot. Balance it out so you're even on both sides. And then we lift the heart. And then we round the spine. Yes. And we melt down from the low, mid, upper back. Shimmy, shaking down. We bend the knees to the chest and we rock side to side, ironing out the back body. Soles of the feet together, knees opening up, circling, opening the hips again and again, and releasing the back. And we'll feel the difference when we started with the figure 4 upright as opposed to lying down. Okay, and then we're going to add some core strengthener here, some ab work. So first just flex through that right foot, draw that right knee away from you, and that triangle of space, we're reaching through. Every breath lies infinite power. Power to return back to our true self, already whole, already free, already aware. That's the dance. Maya takes us out, delusion takes us out, breath, present moment awareness takes us back in. Prayer, many other ways as well. Okay, now as promised, the ab work. So it's an opposite. We're not yanking on the neck. We're just lightly placing our hands at the back of the neck. And we're drawing our left elbow, sorry, Kitty, I have to move you. Our left elbow toward our right knee and then back. Let's do about 4 to 6 of these. Exhale. I'm going to lift my left foot a little higher. Really hear the sound of the exhale. As we know, most of the yoga postures are named after our friends, the animals here. We did cat tiger earlier, Digger, so I'm kind of caught the flow. Okay, so I don't know if that's 6, I stopped counting. Before we go to the other side, why not? While we're here, why not add that crossover knee to knee twist if this works for your body? Arms out to the side. I like to lift the hips and swivel them over to the right as the knees drop down to the left. If that's too much, stack your knees one on top of the other. And we're pulsing back and forth, knee and shoulder. So it doesn't have to be a tight cross of the knees. It can be more open. I'm feeling to do right now. And then we get the back of the heart and we bring the arms out to the side. And just notice which arm is going to feel the best to do that sweeping half move. I'm a little close to the couch. Just enough room here. Divine light is within me and all around me. Divine light is within me and all around me. Whatever affirmation really roots you back to your heartfelt truth. It's about truth. As you engage the core, and we come back up, we adjust onto our spine again. We fold the right knee in, we plant that foot down. And of course, we're going to do the figure 4 to the other side. So left knee, next through the left foot. Keep that foot flexed as you draw this left knee away in that triangle of space. We're going to reach through. Use your elbow as a wedge to get that hip opener. And the more I'm going to try to get my right heel lifted up for the ab work, it's opposite with the elbow to the knee, coming up shortly here. With this more strength, more engagement, more lift like I as opposed to letting it go.
Either is fine, but it's just what you're looking for. More strength, keep that right leg lifted. Now lightly, hands at the back of the neck. 5 times, exhale. Forward. And back, remember, we're not yanking the neck. We're using the strength of the abs. Get us into that lift, off, and cross diagonal. And again. Okay, and one more time. And back to the ground with the upper body, planting the right foot, and then you decide with the knees what kind of twist you want to do here, the stage of your life. Of course, our yoga changes is meant to change with the stage of life as we lift the hips, swivel over, and the knees come down to the right, and we just pulse back and forth. Perhaps really chunking that time in for practice. I know we're doing that now, but outside of this class, meditation, walks in nature, any way you feel the connection. Spirit, as we bring this left arm up and around. Serve this community. Divine life is within me and all around me. Let's go along for the ride. Divine life is within me and all around me. Okay, as this arm comes out to the side, engage the core, back to the reset on the spine and the back body, folding that left knee in. And let's just take an extension out. Let's the arms and the legs reach out. Before we go into classic Shavasana, just a moment here, because I want to guide us through a simple practice that will take into the deeper Shavasana. Exhale completely. Tune into the heart. On your next inhale, imagine the energy flowing up from the right palm of the hand, right arm into the center of the heart. And then on the exhale, the breath is moving down that left arm into the left palm. And just do this a couple rounds now. Inhale, awareness of the right palm through the right arm, heart center. Exhale through the left shoulder, left arm, left palm. Working with the solar current on the right side and the lunar current on the left side. We're doing that throughout the whole practice, but we're specifically guiding the energy in this way. Now, if that speaks to you as we move into Shavasana, if there's any last pose you want to do, feel free to do that. I'm going to hug my knees in, rock side to side. I'll guide us through eventually in our Shavasana, but if that somehow just isn't speaking to you, you just come into the fullness of the up and down yoga breathing, central channel breathing. We'll get there, of course, or it's happening anyway, but I'll guide you through it. So just it's fun to practice these different yoga nidra breath practices at times. Okay. So getting cozy, comfortable, warm, eye bags, legs up the wall, last pose, drink of water. As we move into our deep interiorization, restoration. So important. And ultimately,
corpse pose. Dying do we think we are only as this egoic personality. Of course, the ego is there, but we're inviting the higher self to express through it. Okay. All righty. All right, as you're getting settled in. If it speaks to you to, depending how your body is formatted, most likely. Well, let's take a short, then long inhale and tense the body. So inhale, short, long, double breath. Make a fist with the hands, tense, 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 tense. And when you're ready, short, then long, exhale. And easing the head from side to side. That's available to you. And imagine that ball of light, crystal energy, golden energy above the crown of the head. Moving down to the forehead, softening the forehead, softening the eyes, softening the jaw. Softening the shoulders and hearing that ujjayi sound, that oceanic sound, most audible in the throat. And with that practice, I'll guide us through. It's really about listening to the heart, creating compassion and space in the heart to allow the energy to flow and hear from your deep wisdom of what at this stage is speaking to you, your heartfelt desire, guiding you at this stage of your life. So we're going to breathe into the heart and feel the floor, the ceiling, the sidewalls of the chest ventilating. And in your next inhale, feel the energy in the right palm of the hands moving up the arm, touching deeply into the heart center, and then exhaling through the left shoulder, left arm, left palm of the hand. Do that several rounds if this is speaking to you. Solar inhale, lunar exhale. Listening and tuning in deeply. If your heart could talk, what would be the higher guidance now at this stage in your life? You may notice all the internal organs ventilate, pulsate with the inhalation, with the exhalation, expanding and condensing. Belly expanding and condensing, maybe staying with the heart, arm, or letting go and just coming back to literally the center of the body. Just feel, sense and feel what your body wants to do here as your breath, life force, prana energy leads the way.
Feel the back body getting heavy, supported by the earth. Front body lighter. Cheeks softening, thighs, knees, calves, all the way through the ankles, soles of the feet, digits of the toes, the heels, balls of the feet, left and right. Relaxed yet aware. And trust the divine life within me. I keep tuning into it to guide me in this stage of my life. Maybe doing some central channel breathing, full yogic breath, returning to what's already whole, already free, already aware. I'm really tuning in to sense and feel if this is a time for you to stay in Shavasana longer, or perhaps to start to ease into gentle movement, wiggling the fingers and toes, or any way you'd like to. Classic to rest in the fetal pose if you're returning to movement. Symbolic of the deep nourishment we've received from the practice, from opening to the wisdom of our hearts, to listening and continuing to listen for guidance in this stage of your life. Or the yogis celebrate this time of our lives more for spiritual practice and service to others. And if you'd like, either coming up into a comfortable seat or perhaps sending energy through the Om sound, visualizing those people in your life you'd like to send healing energy to, and generate some heat. Visualize them at the spiritual eye, could be the planet itself, or inhale. And if you like, bringing the hands in Namaste, bowing to the wisdom of your heart, recognizing that divine consciousness, that one consciousness in everyone and everything. That's where we are one, and letting that consciousness lead the way. As I